What's going on, my Jack brother? Coach Scott here. In today's video, we're going to talk about achieving your natural genetic muscular potential, what that may look like to give you some realistic expectations, and how to maintain your motivation to work out once you've hit that genetic potential. Thanks to YouTube, we have a boatload of real-world evidence that backs up the scientific evidence in regards to how much muscle we can expect to gain throughout our training years. We've got younger guys like Cristian Guzman, Greg O'Gallagher, Vitruvian Physique, Jeff Nippard, and more experienced, mature guys like Jeff Alberts, Alberto Nunez, and myself, who have all been documenting our bulking and cutting phases for years and years, and you can follow how our physiques have improved throughout that time and gives you an idea of what some realistic expectations may be for yourself in regards to muscle building genetics and your genetic potential. You may have noticed that Cristian Guzman has been in the spotlight a lot lately, mainly because during the past several years, his physique really hasn't improved all that much. He's made some improvements, but he definitely hasn't been packing on muscle during this time. And this is a guy, he's in his 20s, his business is built around him making physique improvements, looking his best, and he's got his nutrition dialed in, he's meticulous with his tracking, his effort in the gym is freaking top notch, he's giving it the best that he freaking can, and still has made just very little progress during the past few years until just recently. He's going through a cutting phase right now, and we're seeing that he's basically packed on about 10 pounds of muscle in this past year, which is having a lot of people questioning his natty card at this point, and he's likely not natural at this point. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see if he comes out and shares any changes that he's made to his lifestyle practice. I mean, it's a personal decision. It's a personal choice, up to him. Whether he's natty or not, I could care less myself. As long as I do like the idea of being transparent, especially if he's talking about gaining 10 pounds of muscle in a year, realistic expectations, like, can you do this after so many years of training naturally? It would be good to just see some transparency there. And recently, I really enjoyed hearing Greg O'Gallagher share his experiences with Derek over at More Plates, More Dates. Greg is 30 years old, Cristian Guzman is 29 years old, so very similar in age, and basically kind of hit their genetic muscular potential, or close to their genetic muscular potential, right around the same time. It's been, Greg has mentioned in this video there that for the past few years, his physique pretty much has stayed the same again. So in his mid to late 20s, really not a lot of improvement with his physique. And this is a guy, again, nutrition dialed in, his effort in the gym through the freaking roof. I mean, dude is strong. His athletic feats are freaking awesome. And once again, his business is built around his physique, and the improvements that he makes to his physique is going to inspire others to want to get on board with his programming and achieve similar results. So it's really great to see kind of the openness, the honestness in regards to that. Like, he's not making a lot of progress at this stage in the game in spite of doing all the things right. And we've been following his bulking and cutting phases. We've been following Cristian Guzman's bulking and cutting phases. Vitruvian Physique, another one, been doing a great job of documenting his bulking and cutting over the years. He's going through a cutting phase right now. It's really going to be interesting to see when he gets down to his competition physique, if he's carrying any more muscle than the last time. It seems like his physique is pretty much plateaued as well, again, in right around the same age range there too. So building off these, then you got Jeff Nippard as well. He's probably what I would consider, like, these guys, Greg O'Gallagher, Cristian Guzman, Vitruvian Physique, good genetics. Jeff Nippard, I say freaking elite goddamn genetics. And even with him, we're not seeing him like pack on tons and tons and tons of muscle. Like, you can kind of see like the gains are slowing down at this stage in the game with this amount of lifting years experience under the belt. And I think a lot of these guys have been very much like me. They start training at an earlier age, like early teens. And so by the time you get to your mid-20s and everything, you've pretty much, after 10 years of lifting, 10 to 15 years of serious lifting, you're pretty much at or very, very near your genetic muscular potential. And that's when you get to the point where, if Cristian Guzman did indeed take that next step, it's like, is that what you want? Is gaining more muscle at this point important to you, so important that you're willing to kind of put your health at risk by taking that route of performance enhancing drugs? And it's a big reason why we're starting to see more and more of these younger guys in their 20s getting on TRT, low dose steroids and everything as well, because they really want to take their physique to the next level. They feel like they've achieved, or so like the results are so slow at this point that the only way to gain more is to take that route of performance enhancing drugs or even testosterone replacement therapy. And then there's the more mature and experienced bros like myself, Jeff Alberts, Alberto Nunez. We've been documenting our muscle building and cutting phases for years. Now, those two are more serious into the bodybuilding scene, competitive bodybuilders. It's been, I think, close to 10 years since I've competed. And they are very serious about their bulking and cutting phases. Like, they put on a fair amount of weight in their off seasons. And like for Jeff, he'll take a full year, a slow and steady process to burn off that excess fat before a competition. And in recent competitions, he's shared that he's basically coming in lighter than he ever has before, but also looking better than ever before. So he may not be packing on muscle. He may not even be gaining any muscle at this point, but that's the beauty of sticking with this muscle building process and trying to improve our physique, is that as we're aging, there's something about that muscle maturity, the density, the details of our physique from continuing to push ourselves in the gym and challenge ourselves. So even if we're coming in lighter, even if we're not packing on muscle, we can still look better each and every year. So again, a great example right there of just kind of realistic expectations of not so much looking at scale weight, but just fine tuning your physique in these later years after you hit your genetic potential. And this is all in alignment with what the scientific evidence has shown in regards to how much muscle we should expect to gain throughout our training years. And that is during years 1 through 4, maybe 5, like all the muscle we're going to gain in our lifetime, most of it is going to take place during those years. From years 5 through 10, we're still going to gain some muscle, but it's going to be at a much slower pace. Beyond 10 years of smart lifting experience, it basically becomes a game of ounces. That is the same across the board, whether you start training in your teens, in your 20s, in your 30s, or in your 40s. Like those first years, first 4 to 5 years, that's when you're going to experience the greatest gains. Now, if you start lifting in your 40s, don't expect to make the same kind of newbie gains you would make if you were like 18 years old. It's just, our conditions are different. We're gonna have a little bit higher testosterone at 18 years old compared to like 42 or 44 years old. You utilize protein better when you're younger compared to in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. So, and many other factors come into play. Now, certainly there are some cases where someone who begins lifting in their 40s ends up gaining more muscle during the first 4 to 5 years of training compared to someone who begins at the age of 18 or 19, and that all comes down to genetics. Some of us are just predisposed to not gain much muscle mass in spite of how much effort we put into our training and our nutrition. Some of us are just outliers in that sense, and then others are outliers in the sense that they can just freaking pack on tons and tons of muscle there. So there are so many different factors that come into play, which is why it's really tough. You got to take those charts with a grain of salt. This is like how much muscle you can expect to gain throughout your lifetime there. We are all freaking different. And then there's just lifestyle factors that come into play as well. Like, is your genetic muscular potential, like that's probably tied into how much you are optimizing your lifestyle. If you really are like super obsessed and concerned about achieving your genetic muscular potential, are you going to take it to the point where you're optimizing everything in the sense that you're never going to drink alcohol, you're going to eat nothing but whole, natural, nutrient-rich foods, you're going to make sure you're in bed at 9 o'clock every single night and getting at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep every single night consistently, and manage your stress to a T. And just like, I had a great conversation with one of my coaching clients the other day where he's in his 40s, looking to maximize his leg muscle gains. He's like, man, like he's worried about the interference effect with cardio and stuff. He's like, should I like not go out for bike rides with my kids? Is it worth it at that point when you're sacrificing joy in life and all other things you're doing just in an effort to try to squeeze out every last little bit of muscle gains that you possibly can, like optimizing every little detail of your life and making sacrifices from other fun experiences in life just for that? Like, is it worth it? Is muscle that important to you that you're willing to sacrifice fun times in all other areas of your life as well? Those are things that you need to consider when it comes to achieving your genetic muscular potential. I know for myself personally, I am either at or damn near my genetic muscular potential. If anything, it is a game of ounces at this stage. If you've been following my journey for any length of time, you know that I started training at the age of 13 I was a scrawny little kid. After 5 to 6 years of lifting, 18, 19 years old, weighing in around 123 pounds, I'd say I gained most of my muscle mass during that age, like 18 to 25 years old. At that point, that's when I really started to pack on the weight, packing way more fat than I was muscle, and gained like 50 pounds of excess fat. And then I had to shed that about 11 years ago. And since losing that 50 pounds 11 years ago, I've went through many bulking and cutting phases where I gained 30 pounds during a 7-8 month period, then 20 pounds for many years. I'd go through bulking phases, whereas gaining 20 pounds during 7 to 8 months, going through 12, 16 week cutting phases. And then during the past few years, I've kept it to under 10 pounds for my muscle building phases, and just seeing that each of those times, like, it's been slow and steady. So not worth it for me to go through those bulking and cutting phases anymore, because it's just all fat for the most part. So why put myself through that? So now I stay within that 5 to 10 pound range as I'm going through my muscle building phases throughout the year. Just keep things more consistent throughout. Now, as difficult as it may be for some of us to wrap our heads around, we will reach a point where simply maintaining our muscle mass is going to become a feat in and of itself. And we're going to reach a point where all of our efforts towards our training and our nutrition is going to be to slow down that inevitable decline in our muscle mass. And I was recently asked by one of my coaching clients, like, what keeps you motivated to work out after you've achieved your genetic muscular potential? And for me, like, slowing down the inevitable decline is absolutely huge, because as we age, our muscle mass and our strength is our greatest asset. So that's definitely going to keep me going. I don't need to keep packing on muscle. I just need to try to hold on to this hard-earned muscle that I've gained throughout the years. But the biggest thing is that I just freaking enjoy lifting. I enjoy the lifting experience. I enjoy the camaraderie in the gym. I love the atmosphere. I love the pump. I love the way it makes me feel. It allows me to live my life to the fullest, to perform all of my activities throughout the day to the fullest. And I mean, there's a lot of adventures that I want to experience later in life, and I just want to have my full capacity to enjoy that to the fullest. But again, everything that I am doing in this journey, whether it's my nutrition, my training, my cardio, it's to bring out the best in me. It is to live my life with confidence, pride, zest, and vitality. So as I was talking about earlier, like, if I want to go on a bike ride with my family or do any kind of activity that may interfere with my gains, or have a drink with my dad, have a craft beer with my dad, like, I am going to do those experiences, not worrying about the impact that it may have on achieving my genetic potential. I just want to live my life to the fullest. Like, I am more than happy with the physique that I have developed up to this point. Do I want to eke out any last little bit of gains I possibly can? Of course I do, but I'm not going to sacrifice other joy in my life in order to achieve that goal. It's all going to be combined. Like, what I'm doing in the gym and with my nutrition should enhance all aspects of my life. So those are my thoughts on achieving your genetic muscular potential. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. If you know a fellow bro who'd benefit from watching today's video, please do me a favor and share it with them. But more than anything, I'd love to hear from you down in the comment section below. Share your thoughts, share your feedback, share your insights. What kind of gains have you been experiencing? What stage in the journey are you? And have you noticed a slowdown over the years? When did you make your greatest gains personally? So share your thoughts down in the comment section below. And before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Lose Fat, Get Jacked. Have yourself an amazing day. Catch you in the next video.